Welcome. We are here to talk about the new moon in Aquarius that is coming up on February 11th and the importance of it. And I'm just going to share a little bit of perspective on what I'm already feeling and envisioning for this new moon energy. We're already in such a very transformational Aquarian energy because we have 6 planets that will be all in the sign of Aquarius. All these planets, these big outer planets, except for Pluto. Pluto's still in Capricorn, but Jupiter and let's see, the new moon on February 11th, the sun will be at 23 degrees and the moon will be at 23 degrees, both in Aquarius. That's what makes the dark moon. And Mercury is currently, I'm coming to you on the 30th of January. It went retrograde. I ended up scratching all of the 12 sign oracle readings for the month of February. I may or may not. I'm having a hard time doing these general readings because if I had somebody's birth chart in front of me, it would be expanded because all planets, all signs, all elements are within us. So we'll just see. I had a lot of technological difficulties already because of Mercury retrograde and this new Aquarian energy that we are going into, guys. This is already a snapshot of what it's going to be, and it's important for us at the new moon to plant a seed. And what I'm finding come up within me that is definitely above as well is our relationships with our emotions are so significant right now. I'm one that deals with a lot of anxiousness, and Uranus rules Aquarius, but the lower octave of that is Mercury, and I'm a sun sign Virgo, so Mercury. Been dealing with a lot of mind chatter, increased anxiousness, and what I've found it is so important for us to start learning how to master our egoic intellectual minds because of we're going into this Aquarian energy. This is a very significant snapshot of what is to come for our future selves. I'm feeling like telepathy is something that is already big, but it's going to get bigger. And in order for us to not pick up on the collective consciousness of the lower frequencies, we have to have healthy boundaries with our intellect. And so we're all craving emotional freedom, and this universal mind, with it being represented by Aquarius, it's important to have healthy boundaries with your intellectual mind. It's important for you to have healthy boundaries with protecting yourself from collective psychic attacks, right? And Aquarius is all about the collective energy. We're getting a taste of this already with several planets already there in Aquarius. Jupiter, Saturn, Venus as of tomorrow, I do believe. Mercury, which is now retrograde in Aquarius. And then that sun and that moon. Did I say Saturn? Because this Jupiter energy that's right there with this new moon, we're already in it, guys, is going to expand everything, and it can create an optimism within us. But the important thing for us all right now, I know it definitely came up for me, is to master your mind. I was dealing with a lot of subconscious things that I was still holding on to, and I finally just called out to my higher self, creator, great spirit, and said, I need help. And the first word that came up to me was resistance. And I'm like, I don't know what else I'm resisting. The next thing that came up from me, and I was able to communicate this, didn't even know it was bothering me, it was in my deep hidden subconscious, was resentment. And specifically for me, it was a mother issue that I've dealt with. So the importance of this right now is to protect your own energy. And protect your own energy against your intellectual mind. Envisioning what you want for yourself and for the collective is important right now, because the Aquarian energy rules the 11th house, and that is about our social interactions. That's about the collective consciousness. That is about telepathy And you know what? It could have been a little bit of mix with me of picking up psychic attacks, because some people that I've done healthy boundaries with in the past still talk smack about me, and that is if you're open and you're into that collective consciousness like many of us are that are awakening, that's another thing too. The planet of Uranus rules Aquarius. It is having major aspects with Uranus and Taurus and Black Moon Lilith that are over in the fixed sign of Taurus. The fixed energy, any of the fixed signs have to be open and adaptable right now, and that's not always easy for the fixed signs. So that is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. This Aquarian energy is a fixed air sign. So it's all about the consciousness right now. I'm telling you, and I'm a couple weeks into this already. I started feeling this intensity of the intellectual mind overthinking about 2-3 weeks ago. Whenever we had the either full moon or new moon in Cancer. So keep yourself in check. The fixed signs are going to feel this tremendously, but if you're ruled by Mercury and that lower mind, like myself, you got to master your mind. Because think about a hypochondriac. A hypochondriac can actually create, this is how powerful our consciousness is. Our consciousness creates where we allow our consciousness to go. So mastering our intellectual lower minds, tapping into the cosmic mind, but also having healthy boundaries with yourself and with others. It is huge, and it is going to continue to go this way into the Aquarian age, whenever the true kickoff of that is you know, conflicting from different astrologers, but I'm already feeling it. And so the 11th house is where the cosmos grant wishes. That is the collective. Think about yourself as a tapped into the grid of all of humanity, and think about the fear that we're all purging. Everybody. But on the masses of people who are still in so much fear, think about the energy that is coming in to your consciousness, whether you're aware of it or not. So mindfulness, not going to say it's going to be perfect, but starting to plant the seed of you needing to master your mind, your intellect, because the telepathy and the cosmic consciousness, and this could be even star family, galactic family, we could be picking up on all of this. So go figure where the full armor of God comes on, because that helmet of salvation is to protect your mind, your intellectual mind. And so where the cosmos grants wishes, friends, and social occasions, these are all fine and dandy. What I've been suggesting is that if you're a very internal person like I am, first of all, stop feeding your lower mind and start tapping into your higher mind, your creator energy, your Christ consciousness energy, and having more intellect and dialogue with that instead of our lower minds, because this is going to be significant and key for all of us, unaware or not aware. Either way, it doesn't matter, because this is a collective evolution that is ushering in great changes. And, you know, we're kind of at the forefront with being way showers and light workers and light warriors of having an understanding of how important our consciousness is in what we're creating. And back to the hypochondriac. What was happening for me was in my subconscious, just before I would go into REM sleep, I would be awoken with heart palpitations or a heart flutter. And I would immediately, instead of understand, even knowing that there's a cosmic light coming in that we're integrating, right? Because we're awakening, so we're pinging out there, raising the consciousness, and it's pinging back. It's always a conversation going. So that is where it is important to master your intellectual mind, because there is energy going out and it's responding whether we're aware of it or not. So anyway, back to this. heart palpitations waking me up before I would go into a good REM sleep. The heart palpitation was making me, I responded by fear, medical anxiety. When I would do breath work and release, this was the key, my intention of everything, release. I didn't know what I was still resisting, like Creator told me, but I just started doing it anyway. I release, I surrender, I let it go. I say I give it to God, so however that would work for you. I started coming out of that. And then I had a beautiful talk with my physician and ended up after the conversation. That's why social interaction is important. If you're going where you're feeling uplifted, he allowed me to help release more. And it was just by communicating with him, which is about the Aquarian energy as well. Getting it off your chest, letting it go. Our consciousness is important. Because if I would have kept going on the path that I was going on, about 2 weeks of not getting sleep because these heart palpitations were waking me up, and then I was going into anxiety, God knows what I would have created. You're just as same as powerful as that, because the consciousness and this Aquarian energy is giving us a snapshot of what it's going to be like. And the Uranus rules Aquarius. That is the planet of the Great Awakening. It just moved. It's in fixed Earth of Taurus, which has been either 2018 or 2019. We have to surrender. We have to surrender and start mastering the lower intellectual mind, tapping into the collective, but also having a knowingness within you that you don't tap into it and you don't allow it to tap into you. Whether you're aware of it or not, you have healthy boundaries, and that's where prayer and meditation and contemplation can be and will be life-changing for you if you start it. Plant the seed on the February 11th new moon in Aquarius would be a perfect time if you haven't already. And here is the planet of Uranus, your potential of sudden change, enlightenment, and awakening. And that's another thing coming up. Share with other people that want to hear what you have to say. Do not share with others trying to convince them to wake up. It's not going to happen. If 2020 didn't wake you up, then it's going to take more for those souls that have chosen not to wake up yet. That's their deal. I'm not shaming it. I'm glad I'm awake, but a lot of times it's increased my sensitivity. And I've said this to my higher consciousness, to the Creator Spirit, that okay, I'm awake and I'm very sensitive and open to all this shit, but it's too fucking much sometimes. And that's when I started going, I'm claiming my health right now. I'm protecting myself. I called upon Archangel Michael to bring his shield and sword to protect me psychically so that I'm not tapped in, because that's the healthy boundary for me, is I have to be able to unplug. And that's what I'm learning right now, to unplug from the collective consciousness, because we know that the collective consciousness is all over and there's still a lot of people in fear. So if I'm not unplugging from that, like I'm the type of empath that if I go down the road and see a animal that's been hit by a car, I absorb that into all of myself. I have to have healthy boundaries with myself and unplug. So that's what I'm learning, and I'm sharing that with you guys. Because where we're going into this energy with the Aquarian energy is about that, the collective consciousness. And a hypochondriac can reverse all of that. I could have easily went down that path because the heart flutters were then I was responding by fear. So the power of the mind and the power of the consciousness, and for any empath or old soul that's awake, and if you're plugged into that all the time, you'll, just like the electricity of the Uranus, it is about lightning. It's about consciousness. We are light beings. Excuse me, in a dense body. We're just getting, like I said, the conversation between us and as above is amping up. And the planets respond to us. We put out a ping. And so the collective consciousness, I'm feeling still. You know how the Aquarian energy has the two lines? I feel like that's not only information, but it can be information overload, and that information overload can happen even within yourself. So mastering your mind. Anything else I want to just share on the chart? I could go on and on about the chart alone, but I want to get into cards because I drew an anchor card for the overall energy for this Aquarius new moon. Then I'll do the Sabian symbol. And the card that we got is the Legacy of Light card. That is the overall message for this Aquarian new moon. We are light beings. We are frequency. We are going through a place in space where the radiation and the sun and the central sun are responding to the awakening. They're calling it the Great Awakening, right? Humanity has a long ways to go yet, but we're ushering this in. You can be experiencing rashes on your body. You can be experiencing a very busy intellectual mind. You can be starting to really amp up with your telepathy. And we're doing work of lifetime after lifetime of family lineage that was not done, and it was put off, and people were in mind control and bogged down by the density of the control factors that are still in place, that are fighting for their place with humanity. And I don't believe it's going to work this time. And it's up to every one of us to remember that we are light. Always drink lots of water. Again, back to some of the symptoms. Very busy mind. Sudden bouts of anger. Just allow the things to come up, because that resentment that I was holding within me, I thought I was done with it. It surfaced in my subconscious mind before I would go into REM sleep, and then it was waking me up. And the minute I would start doing breath work and allowing that expansion of your heart chakra, especially right now, we're just on this side of the Leo full moon, that is about the heart. That is about courage. It's about being fierce when you need to as well. But this legacy of light, any of the people that are choosing to play on the dark energy of control, fear, domination, will not be able to incarnate back to the new earth that we are planting the seeds to create right now as we speak. And the reason is because the frequency is changing. And I do believe that's where they're losing their grip on the control factors. Let them play down wherever they're playing. I know for me, I quit taking in all information. I'm dealing with me. I'm going to master this shit, because I was going down a really rough time. I was praying out to God, like, please fucking help me. Because the over busyness in the brain was like getting too much for me. And a very beautiful way to help clear that out is, first of all, have your intention of going, I'm not going into this fear. I'm rewriting a script for myself right now. That's another thing. Manifestation, guys, we're at the brink of it. It's going to continue to amp up. And so get control of that lower mind. It's fine to tap into the collective, knowingly or not knowingly, but you got to have, so to speak, the full armor of God on. Protect your thoughts. Protect your heart. Not as in keeping people out, but knowing your freaking worth as a divine child of light. Because the legacy that we're leaving behind is baggage, emotional baggage, PTSD, fucking lifetime after lifetime of traumas that we all keep incarnating with soul tribes and playing out these parts. And that's another thing too. It's time to start creating dharma, goodness, and that comes from knowing your worth as a light being, a light child of the light. It's where we're headed. So plant the seed. This is going to come out a little early for the new moon. We're already in this collective energy. We haven't experienced this many planets in Aquarius since, I do believe they say 1962, and that was what? The hippies and standing up against warring and standing up against, and so resembles, like getting back in tune with nature, getting back in tune with your real self, dropping the layers upon layers of ego that we put on ourselves by taking in other people's expectations of us. Super important. Now we're not going to see the results. You know, the natives say that each person has an influence over 7 generations to come. So this is big. This is, you know, the Aquarian energy is the rebel, the one that's not scared to step away from the pack that are getting led to fucking slaughter and pave a new direction and be the frickin' lineage holder of your blood dynamics that were very karmic. Because on a physical level, people might not appreciate that. You have to step forward and do the work, and do not try to convince other people to see things the way you are seeing them. Openly sharing, because it's a social sign, openly sharing, but only sharing with those people that want to receive. So important. Another thing I suggest for anybody, especially the fixed signs or anybody ruled by Mercury or Uranus, the lower mind, the higher mind, is to, I say this all the time, but meditate and contemplate, but the information that we take in, you have to guard your thoughts. Because the hypochondriac metaphor that I'm using here is exactly the type of energy with this Aquarian energy. So step away from the packs that want to keep fighting over dumb shit, warring with each other, can't say nothing nice because somebody has a different opinion. Fuck them, let it all go. They'll wake up in their own time. It's important. Very important. So here is, it is happening at 23 minutes 16. And so when I do a Sabian symbol, I have to round up. So I'm doing the Sabian symbol for 24 degrees of Aquarius. And this was right in sync with where we're at. And this is from my Diane Roche Sabian symbol book, in case anybody wants to know. A man turning his back on his passions and teaching from his experience. The key word here is serenity. I digress. When I was talking about the lower mind with anybody that's ruled by Mercury, get out of your head and communicate with people. Make contact with people. Again, always with trusting people that want to hear what you're experiencing. But in order to get it out of here, and the repeated movie that plays in a person who's very analytical like myself, communicate with other people. Get out of here. Because when you get lost in here is when I deal with so much freaking anxiety, grounding, you name it. So, because this is a social sign, the water bear is exactly what the Sabian symbol is going to share with us, which is pouring the canister of water, which is the experiences you've been through, and sharing that through communication with others. It's where wisdom comes in. So let me start over. I digress. Sorry. A man turning his back on his passions and teaching from his experience. That's what this channel is for me. Serenity is the key word. Enlightenment. This symbol speaks to conversation or the type of sudden change that occurs when an individual becomes aware that his lifestyle is causing him unpleasant and unwanted consequences. It also speaks to proselytizing, which I had to look that up, is to convert or try to convert somebody else. Again, this is unwanted consequences. It also speaks to trying to convert and the tendency of a newly reformed and enlightened to want to share the fruits of their experiences with others. Don't try to convert. A lot of light workers have been doing that. I've already let it go, but I learned that with the karmic blood mom that wouldn't hear me. I tried to, cried. I lost my fucking gallbladder and solar plexus went dim as all dim, you know. The sun burned out in my digestive tract, which put me in a bad place. So don't try to convert or convince anybody. Master your own intellectual mind. It is so important with this Aquarian energy, guys. The image of the man turning his back on his passions and teaching from his experience emphasizes self-mastery and control over physical and emotional compulsions. On a practical level, this symbol can apply to the recovering alcoholic, the born-again Christian, or others who have had a transcending experience Oh, I've transcended a bunch of shit. The positive aspect of this new moon is at its highest, the symbol represents wisdom gained through first-hand experiences. On the negative side, discouragement and disappointment with the self and life in general. Get your intellectual mind in check. This is an SOS to anybody that's going into that freaking anxiousness and this fear trap that I was. Could have took me into a bad freaking place. Get out of it. Get yourself out of it. Your consciousness and your intention is the power that you need to flip the script. Wow. The ascent is on enlightenment, and that is true because that is the planet of Uranus that rules Aquarius, is fast, sudden awakenings that people will continue to through 2021, but they'll do it on their own deal. It's all up to the individual. So remember that. Don't try, if you're already awake, don't try to convince anybody of shit. You gotta let that go. Oh man, note to my younger self. You could be thinking about how you can give up one of your vices as a result of realizing it is taking you in the opposite direction from where you want to be. The opportunity with this new moon is your greatest advantage lies in sharing the fruits of your experiences with those who show an interest in hearing about your journey. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. And why am I sharing it so passionately? Because I fucking experienced it and I share here on my channel. Leave it up to who wants to tune in and listen to it, because this is where we're headed. Wow. The risk with this new moon energy in Aquarius is guard against trying to convert others who see things differently from you, or trying to convince them that their beliefs and their values are somehow inferior or wrong. That's what I said earlier about I used to do this. I used to try to, oh my God, I'm awake and I just want to share it with somebody else. If they don't want to fucking hear it, don't try to convert them and don't try to convince them, because you're wasting and leaking out your energy. It is so important. I'm glad I'm right now feeling and experiencing the release, surrender, and let fucking go and let God within me. And I'm saying this to you with a passion today because I just went through 2 weeks of hell. And who put themselves there? I did. How did I? By not unplugging from the collective. From not unplugging from the collective, and then some residual mama resentment that I was holding in my heart. I let it go. I will let it go and let God, creator, whatever you want to call it, my higher being, take it away over and over and as many times as I have to. But now that I have this awareness of it, it's like, oh my gosh, bring it on. Because guess what? When I had that epiphany, it was like I let go of a bunch of freaking sludge that was in me that I didn't even know was in me, that was literally waking me up when I was trying to rest at nighttime. And then it wasn't long, by communicating what I've been experiencing, and not only recently, but in my whole life with just a couple of people, and then letting it go to creator or my higher consciousness, calling upon Archangel Michael to help me. And I actually out loud, I don't care what you call it, God, creator, great spirit, like I let go and let God call out for help. That's another thing that we need to learn. I was something else I had to learn. You gotta ask for help. And who better to ask than the great creator, consciousness itself, right? Not human. Light. The main source. Because we are that light, and we're integrating and purging and releasing and changing so very much as a collective that god dang, ask for help if you need it, right? She feels, she knows, and that is the gift of being a sensitive soul, being a seer, being awaken to your true identity as light, as consciousness, as a small slice of the cosmos. That's where astrology came in for me. I've always loved it. As above, so below, as within. It is a snapshot. We're all unique. That's why each one of us has a birth chart that's unique to us. Creator knows it. It wasn't to put all of our faith in it. It was to help guide us. Because it's hard on the earth plane as a human. I'm flipping my script to that too. She knows, she feels. I'm unplugging. Yes, I'm a feeler. I'm a freaking healer. But I have to have the healthy boundary with myself. Because when I'm absorbing the feelings of the collective consciousness, burn out. Unplug. She knows, she feels. Love it. Love it, love it. I'm excited about it now because I'm a couple of weeks ahead from I'm going to plant a very important seed with this new moon coming up in Aquarius of envisioning. That is envisioning our future selves, guys. The collective consciousness, the future, technology, innovation, being a freaking rebel. My God, those all describe my daughter to a T, and she's the sun. I think she's got this is probably going to be significant in her birth chart because I think she's born under a new moon in Aquarius, to be quite frank. So it's about sharing your experiences. If you're somebody that's dealing with anxiety like I have in the past 2 weeks, get out of your lower mind. You can freaking do it if I can do it. And I've been talking to my son in spirit a lot lately too, in a different way of just be with me, son, and let me feel your love and your presence to help guide me, because he's on the other side of the veil wanting to cheer me on just as much as I'm wanting. And so first house, the body. It is important. I've been saying this for a while on my channel, but we're going to say this now. If you have tension in your body, I just had major tension in my shoulders, feeling the weight of the freaking world on me. Again, lower back pain, not feeling supported. Each body part has an emotion that's attached to it. If you don't know that, this would be a perfect time for you to listen to your body, trust your gut. I allow my intelligence to speak to me on which vitamins to take each day. And learning to be present in the moment. And when my body starts speaking to me in whatever manner it is, look at it. See what it's about. See what feelings and emotions are attached to that part of your body. Body work is important right now because we're releasing so many things. Whether you're conscious of it or not, emotions get stuck in our body. So touch, massage. If you're locked, I don't know, whatever this freaking world, they think they can put us on lockdowns, but they really can't. I purchased a chair massager and I've been sitting in it faithfully every night to release that. And then my intention also of I don't need to be plugged in to the collective all the time. Healthy boundaries, Deanna. We're unplugging, and that's what I've been doing. Listen to your body. Again, like I was saying earlier, of the light that's responding to our consciousness. I have a rash on my belly. Again, always seek medical help if you need medical help, but look into the bigger pictures, because even the medical industry, the way it is right now, they looking at individual in separate parts. They never look at emotions that get stuck in the body unless you go to a beautiful naturalist or a holistic doctor. Then they'll see the body as a whole unit. Your consciousness, your emotions, your feelings. So bottom line, listen to your body and go, you know what? I'm feeling pain in my left leg. Look it up. Which emotions would be stuck in a left leg? And I know with me, it was my upper back and shoulders feeling the weight of the world, but it's gone since I've taken physical action by taking massage, but then also, letting go of those stuck emotions that were in me. So that's cool. It's all good to be a feeler and a healer like myself, but when you're not unplugging like I was, you'll experience burnout, exhaustion, and it's changed for me so very much in the past couple days because it was all about the mindfulness, getting a freaking hold. It's not really about control. You don't want control. You want to let go and stop trying to intellectually control everything, even within yourself. That's exactly what I was doing. Your commitment is being tested. So here is, to me, your commitment right now to benefit the all is to be committed to yourself. Take the things that I've shared here, replay them, even the Sabian symbol. Where am I trying to convert somebody? Where do I need to let go? Am I stuck in a pattern of anxiousness, overthinking with the lower mind? I answer yes to all of those because I was. And so here I am sharing my experience with whoever tunes in to listen in the hopes that it does help you. Take it or leave it. That's what the channel's all about, you know? I don't have to have people agree with me. I know the experiences that I've transmuted through. And that is what this is all about going into this Aquarian energy, is sharing your experiences with people. Out of the brain, communicating with those that want to hear what you have to say. Meditate and contemplate. This card right here, this is what your commitment needs to be with this Aquarian energy. You're getting a heads up and a jump start a couple weeks before this new moon, but we have so much energy in the Aquarius right now. That's why we're already feeling it. Look at the chart. This is for February 1st, which Venus moves into Aquarius as well. And then it's in these square aspects with Uranus, which is awakening, fast wild cards, Mars, which can be anger or assertiveness, but in harmony. The Mars energy is a passion, a person that is able to get shit started, and get shit started with yourself by being committed to yourself. Meditation and contemplation is key. This card keeps coming up. Everything I just shared with you is being confirmed by Spirit, of quieting that lower intellectual mind and be still to listen, because the answers all come from within. It's super important because we are creating constantly. It's mind-boggling to me how powerful I've came to realize that our consciousness is, and my son transitioning out of his physical body helped me be aware that he heard everything I was thinking, even not even putting out of my lips, but also the Great Spirit did too. And it changed my world. Like, we're also experiencing with these light influxes that are responding to our consciousness. It can mess with your hormones. And I know the Leo full moon ruled circulation and blood and your heart. So breathe in, deep breathe out, moan, break up that energy. On your exhale, releasing shit. What else for this Aquarian new moon? Rejection. Silver card, which is the universal mind. There is no negative, there is no positive. But how this could be conflicting for you of seeing yourself from a spiritual perspective is that your vessel is feeling a rejection. That's another huge emotional abandonment, was huge for me. So then there was this subconscious wound within me of rejection by the maternal person who gave birth to me. I gotta let it go. We are collectively changing lifetime upon lifetime, letting go of baggage, letting go of all of it, so we can rewrite humanity for our future selves with this Aquarian energy. Super important. You'll gain great clarity by release, 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 release. Keep releasing. One more from the I Am Affirmations. I am at peace with my past. This is a huge one. This keeps coming up as well. in order for us to let go, let go, whether it be rejection, whether it be tapped into the collective too much where you're in overwhelm, where it be listening to your body and having things come up within your body, it's responding to an emotional stuck energy. So it's important for you to let go of your past. And I think I shared this the other day. There's not a damn person on this planet that can throw my past in my face because I've owned my shit. And I am at peace with my past. When that card came up to me, I think I sit here and do readings for myself at night, and that one came up from the other night. And when I am at peace with my past, I really felt into it. And I thought, I finally am. I was hooked up on, you know, my son transitioning before me, but on a spiritual level, I have to be at peace within myself with that, because he fucking wants me to do good too, you know. One more I am trusting of myself and others, and this is where you need to trust your highest self, because your highest self as a soul chose to be here at this time, and by trusting your higher self that you are right where you're supposed to be, and that you've made peace with your physical past in this lifetime, and that you're wanting to make peace with past lives, with past soul contracts. Powerful times, guys. So it's important to get a hold of the master. I'm going to do another one from the Queen of Moon, and then we're out of here. Meditate and contemplate is so important. I stress that often on my channel because I know, but I've been more committed to sticking to it. Sit down and quiet your mind and listen. Be still. Let go whatever needs to let go. I know a lot of times I'll just exhale with a loud moan and really let it go, and you can feel your shoulders soften. Plant your seed with this new moon. This card comes up so much. Growth. You're growing, you're evolving. And great wisdom comes from learning from the life experiences. Find gratitude in your heart for the experiences that we've experienced. Not necessarily the shit, but the growth. Allow that heart to expand and continually let go. And remember, you are light. Don't be surprised in the near future that we get to see some of our cosmic family, some other light families. You never know. And that's how I envision the Christ, because the Christ is so dear to me as Yeshua comes to me. And, you know, there's no coincidence that some of the images of him himself have the illuminated light above his head. He was awake. He was psychically intuitive and sensitive just like I am. And to me, it isn't about going down with the pack. It's about not being scared to step into your rebellious, like that's the Aquarian energy. Step into your freaking authentic self. And if people don't like it, not to be rude, but too fucking bad. We're not seeking approval from another human being. Seek approval of yourself by being real with yourself, by releasing things, by letting go as many times as you need to let go. And it's important to master your mind right now, the lower intellectual brain, because we are creating right now. So plant the seed with this new Aquarian energy. Blessed new moon. I hope it's good for you. I hope you're already feeling like pay attention to your body, whatever it is. Let it go and let yourself glow, right? You're in a growth. We're all in a growth. Take good care of yourselves. Shalom.